Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Future of Mail session for the Domino Dozen. I hope everyone had a wonderful day at our launch a couple of days ago. But today we're going to really do a deep dive into the future of mail at HCL. So next slide, please. My name is Barry Rosen, and I am the Director of Product Management here at HCL, and I'm in charge of the Domino family of products. And I have Rosh with me from our innovations team. So Rosh, could you please introduce yourself?
I am so delighted to be here. Barry, thank you. My name is Rash, and I am Scrum Master for Scrum and Innovations, part of HCL Labs Digital Solutions. We are in charge of, creating cool stuffs for HCL software.
That's right, Rosh, and you're going to show us some of the cool stuff that you guys have been creating. So, but first, let's talk about the future of mail at HCL. So, at HCL, our perspective is about choice. And as a lover of food, I don't know if you can tell, it's hard to see on this screen, but as a lover of food, when I think about choice, I think about a wonderful buffet. I love buffets because guess what? You can eat whatever you want. Raj, I'm sure you have some experience with some buffets as well.
I do, Barry. I love the luxury of picking whatever food items that I want, similar to yours. I also love being able to do mix and match, with mains and desserts. I even enjoyed this one time. Can I do a quick story here, real quick? I remember this one time when when I dined in at this large buffet in Manila. I went straight away to a meat carving station just to test whether, roast beef or baked ham or turkey taste better. But you know where I ended up going to from choosing
What's that?
the wide array of meat? I ended up going for a second and third or probably fourth plate of Wagyu beef and a steak.
I think that's an excellent choice. I probably would have done the same, and that's what's nice about the buffet. You have all kinds of options, even salads and veggies, or Wagyu beef as well, so there's lots of options and some of those are you have to think about the choices, do I try something new? Do I stick with what I like? Do I go straight to dessert? It's time to make a choice. And we're faced with choices almost every second of every day. Should you get the blue one? Should you get the red one? Should you do it now? Should you wait? Dr. Joel Humans of Roberts Wesleyan College suggests that an adult makes an average of about 35,000 choices per day. It literally starts the moment we wake up and it does not end until we go to sleep. In the morning, we often are faced with, should I sleep an extra 15 minutes? I've got a Zoom call. Do I really need to shower? Should I eat something? Should I make it? Should I buy it? What should I wear today? Does this shirt match with my pants? Should I wear pants? Trust me, I'm definitely wearing pants, so we're okay on that. So, just within the first minutes of your day, you're faced with a bunch of choices. And if the math on that figure works out, it comes to about one decision every 2 seconds. So what exactly is the definition of choice? If we look in Webster, it tells us the following. Choice is the act of choosing, the voluntary act of selecting or separating for two or more things that which is preferred, the determination of the mind in preferring one thing to another, election. Choice is about a selection from alternatives, and that's what we are going to do. We will provide you, and by extension, your end users, a selection of alternatives on how you can access your mail. So Open Client is about secure open choice, using the UI of your end user's choice with the safety and security of the Domino server and NSF. Open Client is about providing options to keep end users and execs happy. Open Client is about not having to migrate mail just because your end users prefer a different UI like Outlook or Apple Mail. Imagine a future where your end users are happy and your admins sleep at night knowing that Domino is protecting your data. That future is open client. It is safe, it is secure, it is open, and it is Domino. So Raj, why don't you go ahead and show us some of the things that you're working on in the lab?
Of course, I'd be delighted to do that. Well, in this meeting, we'll demonstrate how Open Client will be used to give users the options to use the mail and calendar clients of their choice. And some of the functionalities and features that we will show you here in a bit will include some common mail and calendar functions using 3 different protocols, namely Exchange Web Services, IMAP, and JMAP, across 3 different clients, which are Outlook, Apple Mail, and Letters, all through Open Client, which is a middleware layer that enables these clients to talk to a Domino Mail backend. So let's start with the first option, shall we? I'm gonna begin with a question. If it isn't it true that users are comfortable working with tools that they are familiar with, just like what Barry mentioned earlier? And is that a problem? I don't think so, if you're gonna ask me, unless as a user you're forced to use tools based on server technology. So why not come up with a solution of letting users to use the tools of their own choice? As Barry mentioned earlier, the future of Domino Mail is to allow users to continue using clients they're familiar with, but with the security of Domino. Now, with the implementation of EWS, clients can use Outlook to do all the things they are comfortable with, be it, managing your emails, managing your schedule, your contacts, tasks, mail rules, notes, to-dos, journals, etc. Just like what we're about to show you here in a bit. So here we have a user named Heather, and you are seeing that she has an Outlook account set up that uses Domino as the back end. You can see at the back here in her inbox, these are all Domino mail and calendar data that is showing up from the Outlook client. So let me just play the demo here. In this demo, you will see that Heather sends an email to Ted for an insurance quote. And she wants Ted to review that quote via email and also follows up with a calendar invite. As she is filling out the calendar entry details, what we're going to see later when Heather switches back to Notes client is that all these changes will be saved in the Domino. And you see there's a lot of fields here that we already support: location, subject, the dates. And now you're seeing here in the calendar view from Outlook that the meeting Heather just created is displaying. Now we're at the Notes client. You see in the sent items where the email that she sent to Ted already appears, and in her calendar view here in Notes client, you see here is the calendar entry. Already showing up on her calendar view. So that's it for the Outlook mail. We've seen some regular sent, receive, and calendar syncing. So you may be asking, what if I'm not an Outlook user? What if I'm comfortable using Mac with Apple Mail and Calendar app, right? If you're that kind of user, then yes, through Open Client, you will be able to have the capability to use the Apple Mail and Calendar apps to manage your email and calendar, which is still all backed up with the same Domino Mail server. Can you imagine how interesting that would be? And with the EWS implementation for Apple, Apple Mail can talk to the Domino Mail server. And not only can you choose your clients, but you can even choose your protocols for Apple Mail. We do support EWS and IMAP. Let's see what features we have for Apple that we can show you here. This is still all about Heather and Ted. Remember the insurance thing earlier? Ted here, on the other hand, prefers to use Apple Mail and Calendar. You can see here that Ted has set up an Exchange account on his Mac, which uses Domino as the back end. And similar to Heather at the background here, he has access to all his Domino Mail and Calendar data, and he's using it from the from the Apple Mail and Calendar app. Okay, this is his inbox and the folders. Now, Ted here selects an email from Heather, and she will reply, of course, thanking Heather for the link and saying that he will look over it and will be available for the calendar invite. Now he is accepting the invite that Heather just sent him. And when he switches to Calendar app for Apple Mail, you're seeing here that the invite is displaying on his calendar view. Now what you're seeing here on the other hand is that Ted, that might be faster, Ted has created a folder named Acme account, and he will move the email he got from Heather over to that folder. You see here when he clicks onto the Acme account folder, Heather's email has now synced into that folder. Now, looking at Ted's account in Notes client, all the changes he made in the Apple Mail and Calendar apps have been saved in Domino as well. Let's just quickly show you that in a bit. This is the calendar entry. And I believe when we switch over to the mail view, the Acme account is showing up in Notes as of inside a folder. So does the calendar entry. Now, if you're not a fan of HTTP protocols and would want WebSockets instead, you can actually use Apple Mail using IMAP protocol. Earlier with Ted, we just showed you an Exchange account which uses EWS protocol. Now we're off to IMAP. We have another user here named Frank, and Ted is actually one of Frank's customers. Frank here is using Apple Mail as well, but has an IMAP account set up which uses Domino as backend. You can see here at the back that he has access to all his Domino Mail data from Apple Mail app. You can see his inbox from here, and as well as the folders and subfolders. This is an IMAP account, and then the folders, inbox, etc. Now, let me just pause right here. Frank selected an email he got from Ted. This is still the insurance email code, but then Ted forwards this email over to him, as you are seeing here. Frank will reply to Ted saying that he will also look into the info, and you will see that Frank's reply has appeared into the sent items folder. When he goes back to his inbox, he selected the same email and moves it over to a different folder. That folder is called Acme. This is where he keeps all his customer related emails. And now over to Frank's notes client. You will see at the very top of his inbox, right in the middle here, that the email he got from Ted is displaying. When he did a refresh, you see the sent item is displaying on his sent items folder, and now he switches to Acme's subfolder and is seeing the email he got from Ted. Alrighty, so that's it for our Apple Mail and Calendar. I hope you got interested to some of the features that we just showed you. Now, apart from Outlook and Apple Mail, Open Client will also support the latest innovations with email and calendar. So what does that even mean? Our user Heather here, still, she was an Outlook client before. Heather is now on her mobile device and is using an email app for Android, which is called Letters. This email app is using the JMAP protocol. I will mention later at the end of this demo what's it about JMAP. But anyway, Heather here logs into her Domino Mail account in the Letters app, and she will be able to access her Domino Mail data in a bit. Here, click next, types in her password. And now on her inbox, we're seeing the same amount of Domino Mail data that you have seen in the Notes client before. These are your emails, and I'm gonna show you real quick the list of folders here. I wanted you to watch closely at the existing folder names here, and notice that there isn't a folder name called important. Let's see what happens later when Heather replies to a thread from Frank, flags that email, and mark it as important. So I resumed the demo. Heather goes back to her inbox and has selected an email thread with Frank, and Ted replies to that thread and stating an urgency because she will flag this email later and mark it as important. Click send, and then gets back to his inbox, selects the email, and clicks the star icon, which means she just flagged the email. Click the three dotted icon here to mark it as important. And now let's go back to the folder list. You're now seeing here that the important folder now appears. That means the important folder has been created because it doesn't exist before. So when an email has been flagged, it will assign a role called importance. And that way, a new folder for important folder will be created if it does not exist. Otherwise, folders that are marked as important will be moved over to this important folder if it is already existing. Now, another cool feature we have is archiving an email. So we will go back to Heather's inbox and we'll select an email from Susan this time, archives it, and you will see that this email will disappear from the inbox view. There you go. And then we click onto the archive folder, and now you're seeing Susan's email displaying from that folder. Off to Heather's Notes client here, you're seeing her inbox. And then we're switching over to the important folder here because she just marked a certain email as important, and you're seeing it from here. And from the archive folder, you're seeing the email she got from Susan, which has been moved recently. Now, so you may be asking, why JMap in the first place? Well, JMap is a developer-friendly open API standard for modern clients. Think of it as IMAP, but with some cool and state-of-the-art extensions. And unlike IMAP, it is not requiring a persistent connection. Plus, what I like about it is that it is stateless and makes efficient use of network resources, meaning it's minimizing the number of HTTP requests, which basically is good and optimal for mobile clients. Now we're on to the last part of our demo here, sadly. For the developers at heart, or be it your development team or your end consumers, let's see what's happening under the hood. Now, Swagger UI and Postman are both collaboration platform for API development. These tools allow anyone to visualize and interact with the API's resources without, having any of the implementation logic in place. And here we have Project Keeps APIs, which Barry will provide some more cool info later. And this Project Keeps API, we are gonna be interacting using Swagger UI and Postman. These APIs are built on top of a Domino server running on Docker. And Swagger UI and Postman environments are configured to connect to this server, letting us exercise our API endpoints and communicate, all the expected behavior, all without having to set up a back end. Now, starting with the Swagger site, which is available when Keep is installed. This is a Swagger site. We are about to access an API called auth, where we are gonna retrieve a JWT token. And this JWT token you're seeing from the bearer field is what gonna be used for us to access other API requests. We just pasted the JWT token we copied from earlier, and we are now authorized to interact with other APIs. Here, we selected an API to create a message, and we are accessing it through post method. We click try it out. And here in the body field, we will fill in the whatever info we'd like for the email to contain. Meaning you can customize to which user you want to send the email to, what the subject would be, what the body of the message is. And then when you click execute, you'll see a JSON format response with a UNID of the document. We needed that UNID so that we can access some other APIs in the mail PIM collection. So we copied the UNID, and then here we access a different API to retrieve a body of the message via get method. Click try it out, paste the UNID we just got so that we can retrieve the body of that message. Seeing the response body here with the code 200, we're seeing the body of the message saying this is a demo message and Domino rocks. Switching over to Notes client, of course, you're going to be seeing the demo message in the drafts folder because we haven't sent that yet. We haven't accessed the API to send the message, but now we're seeing it available in the Domino, in the Notes client. So meaning it has synced back to the Domino backend. Now, lastly, over to Postman, where we will interact with JS Calendar APIs for calendar and scheduling, also within Keep, or aka Domino REST API. We start out as well using some of the environment variables here involving a JWT token, because how can you access the APIs if you're not authorized, right? So this is just basically showing you how we can authenticate. Now we are accessing a calendar API to create a meeting. And we are showing you that we are authenticated. When we click send here, we are supposed to see a response body with a message saying that the creation for that calendar entry has been completed, plus the UNID of the calendar entry. Here we access another API to retrieve the calendar that we just created using a UNID and via get method. And you're seeing in the body here that we just retrieved some of the details of that calendar entry. Switching over to Notes client, we click refresh, and this is now the calendar entry that we just created through the APIs without, creating it using any of the clients, just Postman and Swagger UI. Clicking here, you'll see all the details that are available in the calendar entry info. Now, third API would be deleting a particular calendar entry. Here in the response body, we're seeing the UNID plus the message that it has been completed. And then we picked another API to fetch the calendar that we just deleted. And then the last API would be to retrieve it from the trash folder, so that when we go back to the Notes client, you noticed earlier that the calendar no longer appears in the calendar view. And when we switch to trash, it now appears in the trash folder. So using the Notes client, you see everything that we had made using Swagger UI and Postman have been available and have been deleted from the Notes client view. That's basically it for the 4 demos we have for the Open client. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it got you interested. So off to Barry for more details.
Yeah, Rosh, that was great. I'm going to quickly, if I can, summarize kind of what we saw because it's really, really cool what you showed. So the first thing you showed is an Outlook client accessing the Domino server via EWS directly. There's no Traveler server, there's no in between. It's direct EWS connection. So that's really cool and exciting. You showed Domino Mail through, I'm sorry, Apple Mail through EWS or IMAP. You showed JMAP, which we all know and love IMAP, but JMAP is even cooler than IMAP for some of the reasons that you stated. And then to me, one of the most important things is what you showed at the end with the Swagger and the Postman, because really that is the true definition of open, because you don't even have to use a client to create or access mail actions. You can use the REST APIs, and you mentioned Keep, and we're gonna have an announcement about that coming up. We're calling that the Domino REST API, so everyone will be able to actually get their hands on that and test those Domino REST APIs. So that's very exciting as well. So thank you so much, Rosh. That's great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so let's go to the next slide. So, we saw a lot of cool things here, and let's talk about what the future of mail is. And we talked about how it's open, and Ross showed you a lot of that. But we really want to focus on the security side. And as you can see in this slide, this is a really highly requested item. So post V12, we are going to focus on DKIM, DMARC, and SPF. So let's talk about what that means. So in a nutshell, SPF allows email senders to define which IP addresses are allowed to send mail for a particular domain. DKIM, on the other hand, provides an encryption key and digital signature that verifies that an email message was not forged or altered. And then finally, the domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, or DMARC, ties all of those protocols together with a consistent set of policies. And it also links the sender's domain with what is listed in the from header, and also has some better reporting back from mail recipients. So why do you need DMARC, SPF, and DKIM? Well, as we all have seen today, phishing and email spam are the biggest opportunities for hackers to enter the network. If one user clicks on some malicious email attachment, it can compromise your entire enterprise with ransomware, cryptojacking scripts, data leakage, or privilege escalation exploits. So we're trying to harden that and protect your Domino out of the box from some of those exploits and attacks. So next client, please. I'm sorry, next slide, please. Yeah, so let's look at some of the things that we're looking at for notes post V12 for workspace UI improvement. So if you tuned in earlier to the launch event, you saw I demoed some of the new workspace UI with Helen Mendoza from Newlywed Foods. So beyond what you see in V12, we've got a couple of items also in the roadmap. So one of the things that we're looking to do is a modern hover on the workspace icons. We're also allowing developers to to input additional information so that would be visible on a hover. The ability to rearrange the pages in your workspace, grouping possibilities, and then finally search bar for the workspace. This would allow you to search for applications on your workspace, and you would be able to click the find next if there are multiple applications that meet the criteria in your search. And beyond 1201, we have many more items in our backlog as well. So please, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please put them into our AHA portal, and we will go ahead and take a look at those. But these are the ones that we have on our list immediately post 12. So next slide, please. So let's talk about the future combo of our PWA. The thick client is here to stay for power users, but the browser is how a lot of our users prefer to access mail today. And so what we've done is we've built a PWA around a lot of these clients. And what PWA is, it stands for Progressive Web App. And this is an app that is built from web technologies that we all know and love, like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but with a feel and functionality that really rivals an actual native app. It puts an icon on the workspace that makes the user feel like they're clicking on a full application. So today we have a PWA for Verse, for SameTime, and now Nomad Web. In the future, we're looking at how to combine those experiences and allow unified access point into your daily activities. So what does that actually look like? So here on screen, you can see how we're trying to combine the experiences into one unified app. So you will have a pull down menu where you can select the experience that you'd like to switch to. So we've started here with the Verse mail experience. So if you've got Nomad, or if you've got SameTime, or if you've got Connections, or even Volt, you can immediately switch that and keep the context of what you're working on, and then open a new browser tab that will display the content that you're looking for. So let's go to the next slide. So here you see we are doing the same thing in the context of SameTime. And so within SameTime, I can switch back to mail. So let's say I get an email message. I want to immediately start chatting with someone. I can choose SameTime to do so. Start a meeting immediately from Verse. All of these things are immediately accessible from the pull down window. So these are some of what you're getting a glimpse here is some of the future design ideas that we've got in mind to combine our experience from a PWA perspective into one space where a user can select what aspect of their day they want to work on, while maintaining and not overriding their current work. So let's go to the last slide, please. So, we've had a great day today. We've had a great time with Raj showing you. So thank you very much, Raj, for the demos. We really appreciate it. But let's talk about what's coming up next tomorrow as part of our Domino Dozen. So if you tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on June 10th, we've got a Domino V12 security panel. I really recommend you take a listen to this and watch this. We've got customers and business partners talking about their personal experiences with Domino and security. So really exciting things. And every day we'll have some new information. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll have information coming up about the Domino REST API beta program, which obviously we want everyone to participate in. So just once again, just want to say thank you everybody for joining. Thank you to Raj, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.